with that down and out of the way, let's move on to the most joyous news of the day. The most joyous news of the day. Ladies and gentlemen, all hail Lucifer. And I say that strictly in a television context.
Darn.
All hail Lucifer, ladies and gentlemen. Now, for those of you who know, I love the show Lucifer. Tom Ellis's Lucifer is I'm not saying Lucifer is my number one favorite show on television, but his portrayal of the character Lucifer Morningstar is my favorite character on television. I can watch that character sit down in a room and have a conversation with somebody, and I can watch that for a full hour. And I'm totally good. I love this show. Now, the show got canceled on Fox. Netflix came along and saved it. We already got one season, and then they said they were going to give us one more season, to which it was bittersweet because, damn, only one more season of Lucifer. Season 5 is going to be the final season, they said. But hey, thank you, Netflix, for giving us 2 more seasons. Well, hold on a second, because this isn't coming from some fly-by-the-seat-of-your-pants blog or some idiot know-nothing YouTuber. This is actually coming from TV Line, which has put out a report saying that they have learned that Netflix is in talks with Warner Brothers to extend Lucifer into a season 6. Now, what they wrote specifically is this. How's this for a devil of a twist? Netflix is not ready to part ways with Lucifer. TV Line has learned exclusively that Netflix is in talks with Warner Brothers Television to extend the hellacious drama's lifespan beyond the previously announced and forthcoming 5th and final season, which Aaron Cummings, you appear in.
Yes.
In the fifth and... Well, let's just call it not the final season. Let's call it the next season now. Netflix and Warner Brothers have yet to officially comment on the buzz. So, clearly, this is going to put me into all sorts of geeky happiness rage. I absolutely love this news. Now, look, the first question that comes to mind for me is, well, if they plan to wrap this up, how do you do another season after that if you've already planned this season to wrap it up? Well, there is precedent for that. I bring to you, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I submit into evidence a show by the name of Magnum P.I. Some of you may remember, I was young, but I still remember because this one season of Magnum P.I. ended, and it was supposed to be Magnum P.I. dying. Magnum was supposed to die. And it even ended, Rob, with Magnum, kind of the spirit of Magnum P.I. with what looked like heavenly clouds in front of him, looking back and smiling at his friends who were still alive and walking into the light. But then they decided, let's bring it back for another season. And he survived and they brought it back. Anyway, so it all depends on where you're going with this. Look, again, to me, the thing I love about Lucifer, unlike Stranger Things, Stranger Things, I love the story. The thing about Lucifer is, my attachment to Lucifer is much like my attachment to Supernatural. I'm attached to the characters, right? So I really don't care what their storyline is. I just love the characters, and I love seeing the interaction of the characters and the evolution of the characters. So you can keep doing that as far as I'm concerned. So look, we should be very careful to point out that this is not official by any stretch of the imagination, but the very notion, guys, the very notion that Lucifer may get a season 6 might just redeem Valentine's Day for me. It just might. I can't say for sure, but it might just be good enough news that gives me a positive connection with Valentine's Day. Anyway, Rob, you hear about this. Number 1, is it a good idea to bring it back for 6? And number 2, it's just a report right now, but could you see this actually happening?
Dude, if we don't see a trade headline, whether it's on Deadline, Variety, or Hollywood Reporter, that says Lucifer is coming back for season 666. Someone is not doing their job as far as I'm concerned. And I think that alone, just that headline alone that I would like to read is worth bringing the season back for. But obviously it shows, we've talked a lot on the show about how Netflix has this 3 seasons and done model. But if they have a real breakout hit, and I think they've probably been very surprised by the audience, and I'll bet you by being on Netflix, Lucifer's audience skyrocketed. And a lot of people were watching the show. They expected, like My Designated Survivor, they bring it back on Netflix and they give it 1 season and retire it. But I think they've been overwhelmingly surprised at the longevity of this show. People love the show, and I agree with you. I could just watch that dude wander around and go grocery shopping.
Yep.
He's that magnetic and that compelling, and that character is that much fun to watch.
And the very best part of the CW crossover, Crisis on Infinite Earths, was the part where he pops up as Lucifer, and he literally does nothing. and he had no implication on the show. It was just 2 minutes of him standing there talking to a couple people in front of him. And that was the best part of that crossover because that's what he brings to it. Aaron, you are actually going to be in season 5. You make an appearance in season 5, and you're actually pretty close to somebody who's one of the stars of the show and all that kind of stuff. So let me ask you, not to put you on the spot, but I'm going to put you on the spot. Would it be theoretically a good idea to go to 6, or would it be actually a good idea? You know what? 5's a great place to end. And do you think this actually could or will happen?
Well, I mean, certainly a show being able to stay on the air is always a good thing. You know, when I worked on NCIS, I was talking to Mark Harmon, and I said to him, and we were, that was in season 16, I believe, and they had just gotten greenlit for season 17. And I said, you know, how has it been, you know, being able to see the evolution of this show? And he said something really magical, about the crew specifically. He said, I remember when we were, you know, potentially getting picked up for season 3, somebody in the crew saying to me, hey, you know, I really hope we get another season because I'm hoping to buy a boat. And he said, now that same person has multiple boats and a boat house. You know, he said, you know, we get to see the not just the cast, but also the crew really invest in the show and be able to have something that they can rely on and come back to year after year and know that they can put their kids through college and know that there's a safety net. So it's not just about the cast. It really is about the financial security in an industry that has absolutely no security at all. So it's always a good thing to keep people employed. I am always on the side of employment. That being said, when you announce that you're in your last season, and they have, I mean, they only have, I believe, 2 episodes left to film of season 5. Right. So everyone that's involved, I'm specifically talking about the cast here, and I'm assuming many of the crew people, they're already looking for their next opportunity. You know, it's pilot season right now. People are getting job offers. People are getting deals. People are, you know, working, you know, on their own productions and developing their own projects outside of Lucifer. So to all of a sudden find out, oh, hey, guess what? You're still contractually obligated to do another season if we decide that we want to do it. While it's, yes, a very good thing in some respects, there may be other offers that people have on the table that make that a little complicated. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but couldn't you say that they were kind of in a similar situation when it was announced that I believe it was the third season of Lucifer on Fox was going to be it, and the show was canceled. And then all of a sudden, Netflix picked it up and saved it. So aren't they kind of in the same situation here a little bit?
No, and here's why. Having been on many shows that don't last, like my thing is I'm like, I can easily get a job as a series regular, but it's like the show always ends after 1 season or I die after 1 season. And so, but there is a very big difference between when you're on a show for 1 or 2 seasons and the reach that show has, and therefore the opportunities that come to you versus being on a show for 5 seasons, getting to a point of financial, like, you know, after 1 or 2 seasons, you're going, okay, my credit card bills are pretty much paid. I have a nice down payment for a house, but I'm not totally ready to, like, you know, I'm not totally ready to be done with this show. I need a little more financial security. My character also, when they canceled Lucifer, remember, it wasn't the show closing, it was a cancellation. It wasn't like they planned on this is the last season.
Right.
They found out, and so it was truncated. It was sort of, it was almost like being dumped without really getting, you know, your full closure on both sides of the relationship. Now, everybody's getting their closure. They're mentally preparing to move on. They're in a financial place where they can go, okay, I'm okay for a minute and I'm ready to move on to something else. So this is a little bit different. That being said, I really hope that, and I feel confident that Netflix, WB, and everyone involved will make it something where everyone will want to happily renew for a season 6, feeling positive, not just about where they stand financially, but also, you know, at a certain point, you have enough money. It's more about the creative things. Where's my character going to go this season? I've already, you know, we've started to wrap this up. Where do we go from here versus just dragging it out? You know, dragging out a storyline that makes people not want to fall in love with it. And also remember, Rob was absolutely right. When the show went to Netflix, it gained a worldwide following. that it didn't have before, and that makes a big difference.
I think everything you said is correct, but I just want them to bring it back.
Sure, absolutely. Everyone does.
All right, guys, question for you is, what do you think about this report? Number one, do you want them to bring it back for a 6th season, or maybe you feel like 5 would be a good wrap-up point? And number two, do you think this could actually happen? A lot is up in the air right now. Nothing has been confirmed. So jump on down in the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right.